At exactly 2 a.m., Kyle Nagy logged into a private chat. Not a press conference, not a warning to investors, just a few lines typed to people who still believed in him. Outside that chat, SafeMoon was trading at a fraction of its former value. Inside it, Kyle spoke calmly, as if nothing fundamental had changed. No apology, no urgency, just confidence, the kind that makes people hesitate for one more night. For millions of holders, SafeMoon felt different. The token didn't promise innovation, it promised loyalty. Buy, hold, and never sell. That was the culture. Price swings were framed as tests of faith. When volatility hit, influencers repeated the same phrase, "This is normal." And while outsiders questioned SafeMoon's mechanics, its community doubled down. The illusion wasn't growth, it was stability built on belief. Kyle Nagy wasn't a typical crypto celebrity. He didn't dominate interviews or chase headlines. That distance became part of his power. As the original creator of SafeMoon, Kyle positioned himself as the quiet architect, someone who had stepped back, yet still mattered. When things went wrong, his silence felt intentional. And when he did speak, it carried weight. Because if Kyle was calm, maybe everything still was. SafeMoon didn't sell profits, it sold belonging. Holders were told that selling was selfish, that real gains came from patience, not timing. Every transaction punished sellers and rewarded those who stayed. Over time, belief became identity. Doubting the project felt like doubting yourself. Inside the community, skepticism wasn't neutral, it was weakness. In a market driven by fear, SafeMoon offered moral clarity. And that made belief feel safer than thinking. Behind the slogans was a structural trap. Liquidity, the backbone of any token, wasn't fully locked. Control remained concentrated. Wallets tied to insiders could move funds quietly, legally, and gradually. Nothing broke overnight. Nothing looked like a hack. Movements were slow enough to avoid panic and subtle enough to feel explainable. The system functioned exactly as designed, just not for the people who trusted it. On-chain analysts started asking questions. Why were large amounts moving without clear explanations? Why did transparency always arrive late, or not at all? This was the moment holders faced a choice: verify or believe. The community chose belief. Warnings were reframed as attacks. Doubt became disloyalty. That choice didn't stop the damage, it only delayed the realization. Leaving SafeMoon wasn't just a financial decision, it was a public confession. Selling meant admitting you were wrong, in front of people who once applauded you. It meant owning the mistake instead of waiting for redemption. As the price fell, silence felt safer than honesty. Why sell now? Because staying no longer felt like hope. It felt like avoiding shame. At its peak, SafeMoon reached a valuation of around $4 billion. What followed wasn't a single collapse, but a slow erosion. Accounts stayed open, yet balances felt unreal. People stopped checking charts, not out of calm, but fatigue. Online spaces emptied, conversations ended mid-sentence. Some holders quietly wrote the loss off as tuition. Others kept screenshots, unable to delete proof that it once mattered. No reset, no recovery. Just capital that never came back, and trust that didn't either. Kyle Nagy didn't need to promise returns. He built a structure where loyalty replaced verification. Here's the filter. If loyalty is required instead of transparency, stop. And if selling is framed as betrayal, treat that as your exit signal. A real investment doesn't need faith to survive. Subscribe. More investigations coming.